kind of mind-boggling that after an election which we saw almost every election denier that ran for Senate, governor, secretary of state lose, that a state like Michigan, which has been cast as this swing state during presidential battleground years, is moving even more to the right, doubling down on the strategy that failed them miserably, that resulted in the overwhelming victory of, obviously, Governor Whitmer, as well as then that Secretary of State race. So that to have someone now lead the Republican Party at a time where this part of the party has been completely rejected by the electorate is good news for Democrats. I don't really know what the Republicans are thinking there.
So let's move on to Arizona, Kurt, and another election denier. Kari Lake is reportedly getting closer to announcing a Senate bid. There's an op-ed in the Arizona Republic that calls her the GOP's nightmare Senate candidate, adding, the possibility of Lake running has mainstream Republicans searching for a knight in shining armor, the new it candidate who can wipe away the tarnish of 2018 and 2020, and especially the catastrophic 2022 campaign that saw Republicans swept out of office. Are Republicans correct in believing a Lake nomination would essentially tank their chances of getting that seat?
Yeah, kiss Arizona goodbye, Republicans. If Kari Lake is your standard bearer, I mean, again, and this is why, just in a much broader level, Republicans have just learned the wrong lessons from the midterm election, which they underperformed so historically. And it just kind of shows, I think, though, the impact that the Republican Party leadership's decisions to elevate people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, like Lauren Boebert, like Matt Gaetz, how that's having a reverberation throughout the entire party and at the state level. When people like Kari Lake see fellow kindred spirits like Marjorie Taylor Greene get elevated, she thinks, oh, this is my time. There's no reason why I shouldn't run, this, in spite of the fact that she lost a statewide race already, in spite of the fact that people like Mehmet Oz and Herschel Walker lost their races as well. And so leadership matters, and we're seeing the failure of the Republican Party to manage their own party, their own members, and cater and pander to the extreme, how it's backfiring, putting them in a really bad position for 2024.
I guess the question, Kurt, is whether there's a Republican in the state with the ability to defeat her. Does she have so much name recognition and she has that fundraising sort of list right already from her previous run that maybe nobody wants to even try to challenge her? I mean, could there be someone to legitimately run against her and have a chance of winning?
Well, that's why within the party we call it candidate recruitment. Whoever heard of Kari Lake before the last election cycle? You can find a candidate, promote them, give them the party resources they need to be successful, build up their name ID, and run a competitive campaign. But it requires leadership at the party level, and that's incumbent upon the Republicans running in the NRSC. That's incumbent upon the party that's in charge at the state level. And if they sit this one out, if they don't do anything, they cannot be surprised when the election time runs around and they repeat the same mistakes and end up with the same results as they did in the 2020 midterms, which results in Democrats expanding their majority. Who would have thought a year ago that we'd be even saying that sentence, that that's what would happen in the aftermath of the 2020 election? That's exactly what they're setting up to happen in 2024.
Isaac Arnsdorf, thank you. Kurt, you're going to stay with me.